What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And of course, Treasure Map is now live. We just got done with a couple-hour live stream going through it for the first time, just ensuring that our teams actually worked as intended, and everything seemed to be going pretty smoothly. One thing, obviously, this is the York fight, the intrusion battle fight. This is the one where a lot of people are going to have their issues, and it really comes down to the fact that they have a barrier, and it's a rainbow slot barrier above all else, which is just the worst. And then also there is the resilience that you have to deal with. We are using the friend Captain Zoro. One thing I actually kind of realized during the start of this event is that Kizaru, Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and Nami, all of them are the max booster. I thought Zoro specifically was like the higher booster, but I was actually incorrect. So you don't have to use Zoro as a friend captain, all things considered. I do use Zoro for this one because he does help with the removal of the stun debuff, but you don't really have to use it for the final boss versus Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. I mean, honestly, all of these bosses are pretty easy, except for this fight versus York. They really make this one extremely difficult. So the way that we're getting around this pesky barrier is the Shirahoshi support to generate an orb on Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, and then we do have the Christmas Uta to generate a rainbow slot on Dofi Treble. The only way that they get their slot is you have to use it. The Strength Uta only works on a Strength Cerebral unit that gives you a chain buff. This is the only one that really works in this event. Although I am considering changing the team up to just use Carrot and Wanda, just to use their massive damage with their Barrier Pierce to just go ahead and go crazy on this final boss fight, rather than apply a rainbow slot. I think Carrot and Wanda might be the best way forward for this fight. Moving on to our Battle Rush bosses, the first one that we have here in this quest is Brook. We're using V2 Doflamingo, V3 Doflamingo for the special bind removal on the final stage. We did shift up the team a little bit from the preparation video. What we did is that we actually put this old Treasure Map Rare Recruit Ace. The only reason why Ace is here is because of the support effect that we have attached to him. The Cornelio and Kotatsu support just says when you reach the final stage, remove 3 turns of bind, 3 turns of threshold. We have a threshold removal on Zoro, and we have Bellamy support for further threshold removal on Dofi. Basically just meaning we only have to activate Dofi special on the final stage, and then we can go ahead and kill Brook. The next Battle Rush boss is against Chopper and Robin. We're using the absolute GOAT of super evolutions, being V3 Rayleigh. This guy is just the greatest. Captain ability, main reason why we're using him as a captain is to remove the attack down that we get inflicted on the final stage. The enemy does have increased defense, but they don't have an immunity against defense down, so you can go ahead and remove their defense, which is what I'll be doing by using Int Luffy on the team. It allows us to put the Int support Rare Recruit Mihawk, meaning that when we reach the final stage, it's going to set the enemy's defense to 0, and there is damage threshold, a lot of turns of it, so we're going to use the Rayleigh special, full border slots, attack boost or boost, good to go. So by using Rayleigh as the captain, and then we have that one support, we only have to use Rayleigh special on the final stage, and we can kill Chopper and Robin. The third fight is going to be against Franky. This one, I typically use a very similar team to this almost every treasure map, just by using the Cat Viper captains, the Dogstorm sub. We use the super types to wave clear the first 2 stages, and then on the final stage, because we can just basically get through any defensive effect, this team works really well. There isn't really any defensive effect you have to get around in this specific fight. There is just a bunch of despair, which Hiyori deals with, which is great. The other 2 characters on the team, S-Snake and the Kuma, literally are only there just because they'll have type advantage and are boosted fully by the captain effects. So we have Hiyori for the despair, and that's basically it. The final Battle Rush boss up against Nami and Usopp. This is a bit of a weird fight, how they blow away the middle row for X amount of turns, whatever it is. So essentially, we are going to ignore that. We're going to put our wave clearer, being Zorajiro, in the middle row. And then I do have the chopper on the bottom row to deal with the attack down that we are inflicted with. I end up putting Daz Bones on the bottom row, but I mean, you could switch and change and put basically whatever you want there. If you do get lucky enough and get the cooldown buff during the middle of the quest, you have Shanks, who will actually be ready. So you don't even have to use the Daz Bones special if you don't want to, but Daz Bones will charge Shanks' special. So you could technically go Chopper, Daz Bones into Shanks. You get a bunch of buffs that way. It really is up to you at the end of the day, but this team will work fine throughout the duration of this event. And then, of course, we get to the final boss against Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. This, honestly, is a pretty easy fight, a lot easier than the intrusion fight against York. I will say that having Borsalino, or like, if you don't have your own Borsalino, I would suggest to use Borsalino as your friend captain. Now, in this instance, I end up using Zoro as my friend, but ideally for me, I think I end up switching over to Nami because there are more Namis that are readily available, so I think that's what I'll end up doing. Nami or Zoro in this team composition will work fine. We have the Luffy, Zoro, Sanji here. We have the Franky. We are going to be using the Franky on this stage to generate a full board of matching slots. The support of Jinbei gives free spirit characters an ore block, so we can keep those slots for the next stage on stage 3. You are inflicted with a decent amount of despair on stage 2, which is why we do have the Monet. Monet removes 6 turns of that, and that enables us to obviously allow our captain effects to actually work. And because of how much damage we actually have with this team, you don't actually have to use Borsalino's special ability at all throughout the entire duration of this quest if you don't want to. You could switch some stuff around, like you don't have to use the Franky special, you could put Luffy on the bottom row and you just don't have to use it. But of course, you can use it to get the cooldown reduction for your middle row, and then of course you get the chain lock, the chain boundary, and the tap timing chain buff on top of Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, giving us a ton of damage on this final stage. But anyways, that is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you guys the best of luck on your TM grind. Hopefully it goes well. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.